Are you a leader struggling with team performance? Do you see missed deadlines, a lack of innovation, or low morale? You are not alone. Many leaders unintentionally hinder their teams due to a lack of coaching skills. In today's Dynamic Duo podcast, Anja and I will explore how you can transform your leadership style to empower your team and achieve better results. We'll discuss how to move beyond micromanagement, foster open communication, and build a culture of trust and growth. Discover how you can become a coaching focused leader and unlock your team's full potential.
Welcome back to our podcast, to our third episode of the Leadership Superpowers. Armando, I'm excited for this topic and great to see you. How are you?
I'm doing good, and good to see you too. And yes, very excited about our series. Uh, I, uh, I, I'm still enjoying the one from last week. You talk about active listening. It was really awesome for everyone. If you're here for the first time, and if you haven't had the chance to see that one, uh, go to this link right here. Anya spoke last time about active listening. Really awesome material. It was really good, Anya.
You. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and I'm certain today's episode will be amazing too, and you will give us some golden nuggets about coaching. So yeah, I don't want to talk too much before you can
Well,
dive.
you can talk more if you want.
No, no,
No.
no. We want to dive into the topic. I'm excited to learn from you and to hear what you have to say, and then talk about what you shared with us. So yeah, the stage
Sure.
is yours.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, first, one word of encouragement to our audience. If you have questions regarding any of the topics that we are touching, send us your comment. We'll be happy to read from you, to learn from your questions and your comments. So send us your comments. We'll be happy to engage with you. Let me begin by illustrating the topic with this scenario. Imagine a team where deadlines are not met, and where innovation is not a priority, and where new ideas are not encouraged, or are just plainly ignored. That's the worst, when ideas, good ideas especially, and team and the people bringing those ideas up to the front are ignored, and where team members, because of that, suffer from chronic discouragement. And that, my friends, that is every leader's nightmare. Uh, the funny part, well, funny, quote unquote, is that often these problems, or problems like the ones I just mentioned, don't happen because of the team itself, but because of leaders who do not know how to coach that team. According to a Dale Carnegie report, and I'm going to leave that link to that report in that description box. That's in Spanish, but with the magic of internet, you can translate it. According to this report, many leaders are unaware that their inability to coach and empower their teams contribute and is the cause for less than 30% of their team to be considered high performing, meaning that these people are not high performing team members, right? And just because there is no one leading them, there is no one coaching them. So coaching is a big part of a leader's repertoire, and is often ignored. So when you hear these numbers, how does that make you feel? I believe you will agree with me that when I say that every leader wants a team that not only meets expectations but exceeds them. In this sense, a team that feels empowered, motivated, and eager to succeed would be a dream come true. However, many leaders, perhaps unintentionally, hinder their teams because they don't prioritize improving their coaching skills. And as a result, these leaders often find themselves trapped in a cycle of ineffective leadership habits. I have a list of a few of those bad leadership habits. The first one is micromanagement. That is at the top of the list. I mean, there are many more. I just have four here, right? So if you are the kind of leader that is constantly looking over the shoulders of your team members instead of empowering them, then you are a micromanager, right? And usually leaders with this kind of habit uh, don't trust their teams, right? Which results or leads to low morale and a culture devoid of innovation because you know eh, they are they don't feel free to innovate. They feel that anything they do is wrong because somebody is always checking every single step of the way. So micromanagement is a no-no, a no-go for good leaders. The other one is solving problems for them, yeah, which is closely related to micromanagement, right? Leaders who solve their team's problems instead of helping them find their own solutions, they just foster dependency, right? Because someone is always there that knows better, that does everything better, right? So why bother? Why make the effort to do my job in a better way and to innovate and to learn something new? Yeah. So this will lead, or this will, as a consequence, limit the team's potential for growth. So yeah, solving problems for the people is not a good thing. The other thing is the inability to provide feedback, and this is very present among leaders that fear conflict. They run away from conflict, and we know conflict is part of life. So we need to confront our fears, and conflict is inevitable. But perhaps also this is due to the leaders' own insecurities. People, leaders with low self-esteem. So without feedback, the thing is that without feedback, the team cannot learn from mistakes, and this will result in missed opportunities for improvement and growth. And finally, the other thing is being judgmental. Yeah, and this is a big one, especially for leaders with a very strong character. And leaders are usually, they are very secure, or a lot of leaders are secure and they know what they want. But being judgmental is a no-go. Yeah, leaders who lack coaching skills uh, often judge their team's ideas and actions instead of seeking to understand where they are coming from and understanding their perspectives. So this behavior is so very damaging, as it will stifle the engagement. It will discourage creativity and hinder effective communication. The good news is that we can all transform our leadership style, yeah, to bring out the best in our teams. So every team deserves a leader, and we need to understand this part, right? That every team deserves a leader who helps them reach their full potential. However, without a coaching mindset and coaching skills, it will be impossible. This is impossible to achieve. Um, in my life, I work with leaders from various industries to help them with their own with their own personal growth, but also to improve their leadership and coaching skills, uh, with the goal to empower their own teams. And so in this sense, I understand how challenging it can be to balance leadership responsibilities of all kinds, mid sales and quality goals, and at the same time focus on your team's development. But I've seen firsthand the benefits of a leader who prioritizes coaching, because this will lead to a noticeable improvement in several things, performance, morale, I mentioned that before, and ultimately in the bottom line, and right there where it hurts, right? So the bottom line. That's why Anja and I are doing this series on leadership superpowers, because we believe we can all um, uh, uh, get better at it. So as coaches, we can't tell you, we can't tell our clients what to do, but here are some practices that some of my clients have adopted to improve themselves as leader coaches, and as a consequence to improve their teams. And Anja spoke about some of the things that I'm going to mention in our last episode. So make sure you cook that episode from last week. So the best way to start, the easy way to start is a regular one-on-one session. Get together with your team members one-on-one, schedule 15 to 20 minutes, maybe once a week, or maybe every other week, if that doesn't work. If that is also hard to do, if that is impossible to do because of demand and schedules and so on and so forth, maybe you can schedule a once a month, for with 30 to 45 minutes one-on-one with your team members. And then you have to focus on active listening. That's the topic that Annie spoke about last week, because during those conversations, that is like a very, very time is precious, and you have to take advantage of it. So the main focus of those sessions is your team members. So ask as many open-ended questions as possible, and we'll maybe in the future we'll do an episode on that, because that is also a skill that we have to adopt to ask the right questions. So active listen and be empathic, and make sure that your team's your team members needs are concerns are being taken seriously, and encourage honest conversation. That's a hard one, to be able to communicate in an honest manner. Usually because of the power difference, people have maybe like fear a little bit that to speak their minds, because you are the boss, you are you have the control. You can literally, you can fire them. so for that, you have to be careful to create safe space, to create a trust atmosphere, a trust relationship. So you have to motivate your team in that sense to give you feedback, to give you suggestions, to express their concerns, to express their doubts and ideas. So it is important that they feel taken seriously. In summary, without improving your coaching skills, problems will persist, and over time they will worsen. As a consequence, that's a domino effect. This will result, again, low morale, higher turnover, and negative outcomes. And ultimately, your performance as a leader will decline and will suffer. On the other hand, this is the word of encouragement. On the other hand, I encourage you to think about the energy, the productivity, and positive work environment in your team. Imagine this, deadlines are met, innovative ideas flow, and communication is open, and your team feels safe and motivated under your leadership. This is awesome, isn't it? Well, this can be your reality when coaching becomes part of your leadership style. You will create a culture of trust and collaboration and growth for you and for your team. What do you think, Anja?
Thank you so much for sharing all of this. Yeah, let's dive into some questions I have.
Oh my goodness. Let me take a sip.
Of the coffee. Um, for some leaders, maybe some of our listeners are leaders who've never had a coaching session. How could that look like? Those one-on-ones that let's say they say, okay, I'm gonna schedule one-on-ones weekly, monthly, whatever. How could it look like? What would be topics to talk about or questions they could ask? You mentioned already a little bit about the things that are important, but how could it, like, if if they can't really imagine themselves in this situation, how could it look like for them?
Well, I think, yeah, that's a very important point. Thank you for mentioning that, because I think a lot of people that are skeptical about coaching, they never experience it firsthand. I mean, they never been coached themselves. Although in one way or another, every one of us have been coached, but maybe not under this umbrella of coaching, right? Whether a professor, a teacher, a mom, dad, and so on and so forth. That's a type of coaching that happens in a very organic way in our lives. But speaking strictly about coaching culture and lifestyle and sessions, um, I think it's important for leaders to be coached, and I mentioned in my little speech that I coach a few leaders in my life, and usually we are under the impression that people at the top, they everything is going their way, and that might be true in many regards, but often they lack certain abilities, and they realize that, and often they notice, you know, the load is too much, and they have to keep up with the tempo and balance life, family life with their profession and so on and so forth. So the lucky ones, and I say that very consciously and purposeful, that it's very, they are lucky because they realize they need help, right? So they look for help in the manner of in a coaching partner, in this case, a coach. And there are many areas in life where people can be coached. You name it. Whether that is fitness, health, um, losing weight, learning something new, um, get better at being a leader, and so on and so forth. So usually the type of leaders that I've coached, whether that is middle management or upper management, it has to do with leadership and communication and assertiveness. And then as time goes by, other things comes up, that it wasn't planned at the beginning when we get together. But going back to your question, I mean, how does it look? Well, they just look for someone. And if anyone watching right now, if you want to talk to us, to Anja or to me, send us your questions. We'll be happy to set up a discovery call with you. But that's the way it begins. They just like get in a discovery call. Hey, this is my situation. What can you do for me? And during that first discovery call, we just get to know each other. You find out more or less where they are in life. It usually is a first session, really, because you want to find out who they are. You want to find out if they know what they want to achieve, what their expectations are, and you communicate those kind of details. And then you go from there. Sessions can vary usually I advise people depending on their needs, right? I mean, maybe like every week it's okay. Maybe every other week is also fine, and so on. So it all depends on your client's needs.
And another question would be, how can they in their team, or what practices could they do in their team, in their daily life, not just in sessions, small coaching practices they could implement to make the team better, to make the, to just
Right. Yeah, that's also very important because um, time is precious, and maybe 15 minutes won't be enough every week or every other week. But just be intentional, be present. I guess as a leader, it's very important. Just be there, not as a micromanager, but in a relationship type of in a relationship type of exchange, right? Just be present with them, and talking, asking questions, and not managing what they are doing, but just to find out uh, how they are as people, as person. Because without trust, it's very hard. I mean, people that you are coaching, they have to give you permission to be coached, right? They trust in you. So, and this trust is a gift. They give you this right in one of the one of the 5 leadership levels from John Maxwell. I love that book. He speaks about the different levels of leadership, right? And at the very bottom is the position leadership. People will follow and listen to you because you are the boss, you are the chef, so they don't have option. They have to, right? But if we are honest, I mean, we all been there. Uh, but that's not the leadership position where we want to be and handle and do things. And we want to go up to the top levels where people know you, where people respect you, where people trust uh, in you, because you know the way, and they know you have their best interest in mind. So this right has to be, how do you call that? They have to be one. So in the best way I know is to be authentic and to be present, not to throw in their faces your position, which often happens with insecure leaders. They try to handle from that. I'm the boss. I mean, they don't say it with exactly like verbatim,
yeah.
but they make sure you know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the most important things when it comes to this topic, the being present, knowing your team, knowing their skills, maybe also know their weaknesses. Because if you go into these one-on-ones and you want to help them grow, you want to help them grow in the areas they're good in, right? Because you don't want to, if you grow their weaknesses or you make them be better in something they're weak at, they might improve a little bit. But if they have a strong suit in something, they're like really good at this and they grow there, they're going to be exceptional at it. So you want to know what are their skills, are they good at. So you have to be present, you have to know your team, and they have to know you to trust you enough to share themselves with you, right?
Exactly. And I mean, this is a skill that has to be learned, right? And some are natural at it. Some leaders are very caring and empathic, and they want their team to shine, to excel, to be the best version of themselves. But it has to be a very conscious decision. For the most part, it has to be a conscious decision. You want them to shine, because if they shine, then the team will shine, and you will shine as a leader, right? I mean, I think we mentioned that before. I think one of the most important tasks of a leader is to take care of their team, to care, to look after them. So yeah, I think that's very important, Anja. Yeah, to be present, to be authentic, and to make that decision, really.
So thank you so much for sharing all these wisdom with us and sharing a little bit about coaching also and the importance of coaching. We both think it's important. We both experienced it, how it can help ourselves or other people. So yeah, thank you so much. And I hope it encouraged some of our listeners to find a coach yourself or learn some coaching skills for your team, for your people around you that you're leading in whatever position or situation that might be, because as we shared in the first episode, I think leadership is not just being the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. It's so much more. If you don't know what it could be, listen to the first episode of this year. Go back to that one. Yeah, so we're coming to an end. Do you have some last words for our viewers?
Well, yeah, just a reminder, an encouragement for everyone. Think about this. I mean, your team's success starts with you. That's the thing, right? So by like Anja just said, by taking the first step towards becoming a coaching focused leader, and again, whether you are CEO or the leader in the family or a small team, it doesn't matter. If you want to become a coaching focus leader, you will not only improve your own performance, but most importantly, you will create an environment where your team can thrive. Right. So I just encourage you to start today, schedule your first 15-20 minutes check-in one-on-one with your team. You know us, and we are very strong when we say we are firm believers that small steps will lead to big changes, right? So start small, and I think your team is counting on you, and they will be grateful when you take that first step. So, and on the other hand, just reaffirming what Anja just said, if you are looking for more guidance, schedule a discovery call with us and find out how we can help you become the leader your team deserves and needs.
Thank you so much. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode and have a blessed and successful week. Bye.
Bye.